Welcome to Rise and Realign, Conversations for the Sensitive Soul. I'm Melissa, and this space is for those of us who feel deeply, love fiercely, and sense the world in ways that are hard to explain but impossible to ignore. Here, we honor your sensitivity as a strength. It's not something to fix. And many may just be realizing that there even is such a thing as being a highly sensitive person and that there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's normal. We're just in the minority, but it's certainly a gift worth unwrapping. So, through reflections, realignment, and soul led stories, we remember how to move through life in a way that feels true to who we really are. So, this is your space to rise, to realign, and to come home to yourself again and again. Because within you is a wealth of wisdom, beauty, and gifts that have not been recognized or honored. And this is your time. I feel really honored to be creating this at this point in time. As a sensitive woman myself, a year ago, I actually was feeling the inspiration to create a podcast, and I jumped right into it. It sounded like it was going to be quick and easy, and I was met with a lot of frustration in the process. Understanding the tech parts and, all these pieces to connect it to. And it was really frustrating. And I didn't feel aligned with my true and authentic self. And I ended up tripping on a morning walk with my son and just landed on my face. And I really sat with that for the weekend in pain, using ice and red light therapy and just being open and curious about what this was really about. And I just really got it that I was pushing myself. I was pushing myself to step into that next level of my own journey. And I was not paying attention to those cues of frustration. So I'm here talking to you authentically, honestly, because as sensitive women, we so often feel that we're alone or that others don't understand us because we feel things really deeply. And there's a lot of emotions that move through us. Because again, as a sensitive woman, um, our ability to feel sensations, right? To be aware of the thoughts that are spinning around in our mind, but we don't always adhere. And the universe has a way of showing us at the level that we're ready to receive. So I'm here now offering this podcast, Rise and Realign, Conversations for the Sensitive Soul, because you're perfect just as you are. And I really, really mean that. It's not something that I always believed about myself, nor did I always find it easy to believe about others, because there's a lot of things that we experience in this world that are hurtful. They do harm us. But what I've come to understand is that these experiences are part of our own self discovery, our own growth, our own ability to really recognize and honor ourselves. And so I'm here speaking to you as a guide, but somebody who's walking the same path. I just may be at a different point in my journey on some levels that you're now walking through. So I know that my voice and my message finds the women who are ready to receive what I'm here offering. And I really also want to speak to the women that I already am supporting. Um, Amazing, sensitive women who have the deepest hearts for caring about their family, their friends, strangers. I really find that those of us who are highly sensitive, this depth of processing, as far as that scientific language for the minority of us who have this sensory processing sensitivity trait, I really find that it's a depth of caring that comes from our ability to reflect and think so deeply about our experiences, and also our ability to feel so deeply. And that's going in both directions, right? So the women I support can be the greatest cheerleaders. They just get so excited and happy for each other, you know? Um, and they can also be the ones who feel the deepest pain. Um, and so this podcast that I am stepping into now is really to honor each of those women who haven't maybe found someone who really can understand where they're coming from. And relationships are important. Our whole life is around how our relationships impact us, how they influence us to grow, and to really realign with who we really are. And oftentimes, the women who do resonate with my message and my way of guiding, um, they do feel like the outlier, the outsider in their family, even though they feel very loved, and may have relationships with their family and their friends. They're just sensing that their path has just gone in a little bit of a different direction, and they need somebody to talk to. They need somebody to listen to, in the sense of there's nothing wrong with you. What you're experiencing is totally valid and understandable. As a sensitive woman, there's going to be a lot of people who cannot understand what it's like to be you. I mean, no one fully can understand what it's like to be anyone else, because that's our own internal experience of ourself. But I assure you that you're not alone on your journey. Um, there are other sensitive women, and not that only women are sensitive. That's just the um, path that my own professional career has taken me on, and personal for that matter, because I'm a mom. I'm a sensitive woman, a mom, and those are the women who most resonate with my journey. Whether you've had your own health challenges, I know I have since my childhood, whether you've experienced trauma um, repeatedly, or in, you know, more spaced out experiences that just have gone unprocessed because of how intensely you felt those experiences, that they kind of got buried. I really want you to know that there are other highly sensitive professionals out there in the realm of therapists and there's just wonderful work being done in the world to raise awareness around this sensitivity. And in addition to us humans, it's over 100 species who have this high sensitivity trait. There's an evolutionary reason for it. And I feel like that's my calling. It's been to repeatedly be curious, to delve deeper into really wanting to understand what it means to live this life as a sensitive woman, to navigate health challenges, infertility, miscarriages, traumatic births. And then raising children is like, wow, that's one of the most life changing journeys I think we can experience. Or maybe that's just the one that was for me. Perhaps yours is completely different. And of course, um, absolutely valid and true for you. And that's what I really want to speak to from my heart is that this podcast, I'm going to speak about the mess of, my journey as far as the pain, the heartache that I've gone through and how I've risen above it and repeatedly come back to myself. And that's why I created the Realign journey to really help other sensitive women come back to themselves, to rise, reclaim, and remember. But we all have very unique journeys. And what's mine that helps me awaken to my authentic and true self could be very different than yours. But there's still threads that connect us in the sense of our ability to understand. And as sensitive women, right, we have more mirror neurons. Our ability for deep empathy, right, is so, so essential to understand. There's many that talk more about being an empath because, that seems easier for some people to understand than, the science jargon perhaps around having the sensory processing sensitivity trait, which again is completely normal yet invisible. Um, but we do have a more finely tuned central nervous system. We do have a higher access to awareness, spiritual understanding, and even our ability to access higher intelligence. Um, we're certainly not superior, it's just different. But this is a time for sensitive women to really rise up out of the old conditioning and the old beliefs that have been in the subconscious and under the surface, because we can rewrite those stories as we understand what makes us unique and different and really honor who we are, honor our own journey, you know? This life experience is for you. So I just want to again thank you for being interested in hearing my message and to know what this podcast is going to be about. Now, I have come to accept my human design. If you're not familiar with the human design system, it's a synergy of the Chinese I Ching, the Hindu Brahmin chakra system, um, the tree of life, right? The Kabbalah, um, the Eastern and Western astrology, and, our moment of birth, time, location, all of that imprints us with a conscious side and an unconscious side. And it's something that came to me about 12 years ago. And I really didn't like it when I first heard it because there's certain language that didn't resonate, didn't feel good. Um, but through the years, I've really learned a lot about that and really shine a light on it for others when I see that there's value in it. So I'm just wanting to share with you that I am literally speaking from my heart because my profile from a human design perspective is the 3-5. So the 3 is all about trial and error. I'm a pioneer in my own journey because I'm willing to try so many different approaches, so many different things to see what works and what doesn't work. And then I take what works and I live it. And that 5 line is about being a messenger. So I take what's worked for me, what I've come to understand through all of my research, all of my studies, as a licensed independent clinical social worker, and I universalize it. Like, how can I assist others in learning from what I lived through? Um, but that's just my design, right? So I accept myself as someone who is an outlier. I've felt like the black sheep of my own family. And I feel like that in most circles. So I really want you to know that if you resonate with any part of what I'm sharing, then that's a beautiful thing. And I'm honored to support you. And I certainly invite you to reach out. I'm on social media a little bit. I'm not that savvy with it and living my own authentic path. Oftentimes I don't go on it. um, I trust how I feel, and sometimes social media feels really heavy and icky, and I choose to do what honors me and my vibrancy. Um, so, my invitation to you is to connect with your heart and your breath and really honor what comes up for you. Really tune in to you because no one else knows what's best for you. No one. Because no one else knows what it's like to be you, to have lived through the experiences that you've lived through, and with the filters that you may have accumulated, in living those experiences. So I'm here to honor you wherever you are on your journey. And I invite you to, you can certainly subscribe to my Rise and Realign Lunar Letter, which is a weekly lunar insights and soul wisdom and reflections where, you know, you'll also be informed of the next podcast episode that's been published. But yeah, feel free to just let me know how this felt for you because I really feel like this is about the sensitive women who need to hear what I have been able to bring peace within myself around. And I'm really excited, actually, as I pause with that. I'm really excited to hear from you, the one who needs to know that she's okay. There's nothing wrong with what she's feeling. That there is something within herself that wants to be heard, that wants to be honored, that wants to be acknowledged. And what I know is that sensitive souls want to be in their wholeness. In no way do they want to hurt anyone else. And so, through our own healing, we align ourselves more and more with our authentic self, the one that is so filled with love. Because I see that, I feel that, and I sense that with the women who I have the opportunity to meet with. Your hearts are beautiful. They're so loving and so kind. And the world has felt harsh, even when others didn't mean it. And so barriers get built, and we start to feel like it's not safe to be ourselves, that it's not safe to speak our own truth. And I really want to honor that, because those mechanisms, those coping skills that you developed help to keep you safe. So they weren't bad or wrong, but it's our ability to say, is it still true though? Do I really need to still keep up these walls? Is it safe now? Can I breathe? Can I relax? Can I trust? Is support really accessible for me? So I really want you to know that I welcome an email. I welcome communication. If there's something that I can do to support you in rising up out of the old patterns, the old conditioning, so that your beautiful heart, your beautiful light, the kindness and love that you have within you can flow more easily, because you deserve to relax. You deserve to feel safe. You deserve to feel loved. You deserve to feel seen and acknowledged. And breathe. Connect with your breath. Connect with your body, because it does begin with you. You can do this. You can connect with your breath. You can connect with your body. And you can soften so that your authentic self can begin speaking more clearly with you. Well, I sense that this is a good time for me to, well, I guess it was a moment for me to pause. It's a moment for me to just really tune in and see if there's anything more I'm sensing that you might need to hear. The pattern may be that you feel that there isn't support, that so much falls on you to do. And perhaps even some uncomfortable feelings are coming up as I'm letting you know how deserving and worthy you are. And I just want to meet that with, that's valid, whatever's coming up for you as you hear what I'm saying. And it's all okay. We are where we are on our journey. And the important thing is to be honest with ourselves, right? And honest with others. So that's another reason why I'm really inviting you to reach out and let me know how this resonates for you. And if there's something more that you would like me to tap into and share with you. There's so much that we can do when we come together to rise, to reclaim, and to remember who we really are. I will close now the Rise and Realign podcast, Conversations for the Sensitive Soul, and invite you to reach out to connect with your breath and your body. And until next time, be well and be true to you.